Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of Fire Lane Podcast. I am Brenda with my husband, Moises.
Hello.
Or Moses, like he likes to call himself.
Sounds powerful. Moises. Moses.
How are you,
Hear the
babe?
difference?
Yeah.
What do you mean, how am I? Doing great.
I
You already
know.
know that. I'm amazing.
Of course. Because you're married to me.
Yeah.
So, apparently, my hubby here wants to have a kind of deep conversation tonight. And I say tonight because it's late night.
Yeah, this is Fire Lane late night edition. But it's not the kind of late night you're thinking about, dirty-minded people. It's the kind of late night where you're sitting down alone and you have these deep thoughts. And you're like, man, the world is a big place or stuff like that. But this is a conversation that might trigger some people. Some people might agree. Some people might disagree. Some people might think, I don't know, depending on what comes out of my mouth.
So we hope that everyone, I don't know, takes it in a positive way, whatever we talk about, and just know that we obviously are going to make mistakes and going to say stuff that you might not like, but
we did give you that warning in the first episode. Hence the name Fire Lane.
And we also come with like a good heart, not thinking about harming anyone in any way, but we just want to be positive about things.
So the topic for today is how to have a strong mindset. And that's mainly because of what we've seen when it comes to depression. And I know depression is a very sensitive subject. It's a big subject nowadays. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
I have no idea how depression is now more than what it used to be now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that we've dealt with, that we've seen people close to us deal with. And we just, this episode is going to be just our thoughts and how we've bested depression or prevented ourselves from going into that.
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes down to one thing: is just your mental attitude, your mindset, what you think about all the time.
Who are you with, I think, too, no? Like, people you're around.
Yeah. And we're going to give some examples of what we've seen. And because it's some of the things we've seen, it's like unbelievable. All this can be prevented if people would just think positive more.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people might think, well, there's nothing to be positive about, blah, blah, blah. There's always something to be positive about.
Yeah, it's just the way you look at it.
Yeah. And
well, let me just say, like, I didn't start this way. Honestly, it's all been you, babe. You know, and who you've become and who you've made me become, because in the beginning, I wasn't the most positive person. Like, I was very negative, right? So, I know that, like, that mindset can be changed from being super negative to becoming more positive thinker.
yeah. And of course, that's something that's developed. It's not something that maybe you're probably born with, but it's something very much that your association, how you grew up, who you hang around with, what you watch, what you listen to, what you see, all that comes into play of what goes on through in your mind. So I don't know, you want to start off first or me?
I'm just right now I am very, very, like, how can I say this? Like, I'm so focused on these things over here.
What? Los
So,
bizcochos?
can we close ourselves? Okay, so we got home like not too long ago, and on the like at the by the door there was a package, and we're like, where is this coming from? And I asked him, did you order something? He's like, no. And then whoever it was, I don't even know who it is, but thanks for
One of our
the
fellow listeners.
thanks for the delicious
How do they
dessert.
know our address?
I know. But anyway, so you wanted me to start saying what?
Well, I'll start off first. That way you can, I guess.
Yeah, I think so too, cuz I mean, you're like so much better at this. So go ahead.
So, first of all, we don't want anyone to think that we say this because we have a great life or whatever. Of course, we appreciate everything we have, but we don't have that lifestyle we want yet. There's many things that we still hope and know that we're going to accomplish and believe that we're going to accomplish. So, by no means is this something we're not talking out of our butts, for lack of better words. Like we have reasons as to why we could have been depressed. And I think this is my personal opinion. I think depression is a choice.
You think so?
You choose to be depressed
Why do you say that?
because no one makes you miserable.
But yourself.
You make yourself miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone can call you a butthole and you can take it to heart.
Why are you saying bad words?
That's how I said butt.
Oh, okay.
But someone can call you that. You can take it to heart and think the rest of your life that that's what you are. But that's your choice. Because
That's true.
that same person is going to go on about their day. They're not even going to remember you. But because you choose to listen to that person who might be a stranger, might be someone who's not adding value to you, or even might be someone that's close to you, like your spouse or your brother or sister or whatever it may be. You're the one choosing to take that to heart.
Yeah.
And I know depression comes in, like, there's more to that than depression. But if you have a strong mindset and a strong mental attitude, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't care what people think. You would question why they would think that.
And even if you don't, I think like if you want to get to that point of like you're tired of feeling depressed or you feel like you're gonna get depressed or you're getting depressed, you know, know that you can change it. Like I don't know if somebody told me this or I read this, but we've learned that nobody can make you feel any type of way but yourself. So nobody can make you feel sad. Nobody can make you feel happy. It has to be all you.
Yeah. So I guess something that I guess I'm going to talk about reasons as to why I could have been depressed. And one of the main ones is that I grew up without a father. And I don't know if it was, I have no idea how I grew up with a positive mental attitude. Of course, I had stages where I was depressed and had thoughts of suicide or whatever. I didn't act on them. But looking back now, those thoughts were, like, the reasons why I thought that way was ridiculous. But yeah, like, I mean, like, growing up without a father is one big thing.
Do you think everybody once, like, in their life thinks about, like, suicide and stuff?
Yeah, like, what would life be if I wasn't here? Yeah.
Right?
The difference is people who act on them and people who don't. And yeah, I mean, growing up without a father was one huge thing that because of my mental attitude, I thought about it in a positive way. And I've told you about this many times, is that what my father taught me, even though he wasn't in my life, is how I do not want to be as a father.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful he wasn't in my life because that's what he taught me.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that he gave me a bad example, or what a bad example of a father is. That way I can be like, okay, that's not what I want to be as a father. So I'm going to do the opposite. Other things is, I guess what your friends call you. Like me decían, narizón, big ears, four eyes, or whatever.
Your friends?
Yeah. My friends, you heard that correctly. My friends, people who I trusted. I'm doing quotation signs with my fingers.
They know who they are. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you would consider bullying nowadays or whatever.
That's true. Like, nowadays, I mean, we went through it too. But nowadays it's like,
Everyone's going to go through it. I think nowadays, kids are being raised very sensitive.
yeah.
In a way that they can take a cuss word or something mean that a friend said, and they take it to heart.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to talk about what your experience, or why you could have been depressed, your reasons or whatever? You had many
I
reasons.
have so many reasons. So many. I mean, since growing up, I went through a lot of stuff that, like, nobody really knows. Very few people. I think, like, some of the stuff I went through, you're, like, the only one that knows.
Yeah, I'm your husband.
But, one that I can say that it was, like, one of the biggest ones, and I hope I don't get emotional with this, but the first time that so when we got pregnant with Emma, our daughter, we were pregnant with twins.
Yeah.
And we found out that I was pregnant when I was almost 8 weeks pregnant. Not 8 months. Not 8 months. 8 weeks.
You didn't tell
Imagine.
me. Like, hey, babe, you're
Like
having
that show.
we're having a baby in 1 month from now.
Like that show. Have you seen that show? I didn't know I was pregnant. Like, what?
No.
I haven't seen it, but it just like, I think, like, what? Anyways, I was 8 weeks pregnant, and that's when they told us we were having twins. I think at 11 or 12 weeks, we went to go get checked with the specialist, and that's when we found out one of the twins didn't make it. Right?
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking.
Yep.
Because we sat there and we cried. Or, I don't know if you cried first.
You did.
I cried first. Well, and it was just like I never thought something like that would happen to me.
Yeah.
So it broke my heart because I knew it was coming, because when she was doing the ultrasound, she was struggling to find the other heartbeat. And my heart was beating so hard.
Was mine too.
And then, obviously they can't tell you anything, so you have to wait for the doctor. And when the doctor told us, it was just like, no.
Well, you held it in until we left. We both held it in.
Yeah, we did. We held it. I started crying when I got in the car.
I didn't cry until I had to tell my mom.
Yeah. And I remember that I wanted to be like, why? Like, why us? Like, why me? Like, why my baby? And at that time, like, I started thinking very negative.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't to the point where, like, you know, God does things for a reason. And I didn't want to understand, and I was just like, why? So I remember that for a couple of days, and I remember Abel, our son, when we told him, like, he said, "Mom, it's okay. I think," no, he said, "It's okay. God probably thinks or knows that you can't handle 2 more kids." And at that moment, I realized, like, wow, like, our kid, who was much younger at the time, is being more positive about this than I am. And not saying that I shouldn't have had, like, sad emotions or whatever, but it could have been like a moment where I stayed depressed forever, or, you know, from then on, we went through more and more and more stuff, and it could have added to a depression. But also, you, like, and I think that's huge. I think if you feel like you are starting to become depressed, you need that other person, and it doesn't have to be like a husband or a wife, or it could be a best friend, a brother, a sister, a mom, but you do need that positive person that will help you get through it, because you helped me get through it, and you were going through the same thing, and you didn't handle it the same way.
Yeah.
Like, you were so much more strong about it. And people might say, well, it's because you're a mom, but we were both parents. So that could have been, you know.
Yeah, that could have been a huge thing to be depressed about, but I get this is something that we're teaching our kids, is to, because nowadays, I guess parents want their kids to be emotionally available, but that makes them sensitive in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So like now parents want their kids to express their feelings, which is okay, because what we teach our kids is like, hey, if you feel angry, but get over it.
Mm-hmm. Don't stay angry.
Yeah, don't stay angry. Feel angry. Acknowledge that you're angry.
Yeah, even us, like, we've been needing to learn that too. Like, okay, we feel sad today or whatever, get over it. Okay, we're mad at each other for 5 minutes. Okay, get over it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's something that you have to do constant, because emotions are emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deny them. You're going to feel them,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Feel them. Acknowledge that you feel them, but get over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with our daughter, if she's crying, but if she's crying for no reason for like 5 minutes, excessively crying, we teach her to get over it fast, and we tell her stop crying and smile.
Yeah.
Because that's how we want our kids, and we want ourselves too, to be emotionally strong.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know the world, it's not flowers and roses all the time.
Butterflies.
And butterflies. It's not a paradise.
It's not.
So we want our kids to think positive, but be aware, like, hey, there's going to be some bad stuff out there in the world, so you have to be mentally and emotionally prepared
Mm-hmm.
to handle it. And us too.
Yeah.
And thank God we've grown up to have a great positive mental attitude. We've developed that.
And that's because of who we hang out with and what we say,
what we see,
what we
listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge factor, because right now, I mean, people make fun of me, but I listen to Christian rap. I listen to NF. In my opinion, he's a beast. Instead of, it reminds me of the stand-up comedy that we saw last time. But I listen to NF because, 1, I can understand what he's saying. 2, he doesn't cuss. And 3, everything he's speaking is positive. But in a way, well, he like says something that might be negative in the song, but he turns into a positive. Like, hey, I was here, but now I'm here. Know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I was in this bad place, but hey, I grew up, I became
And
stronger,
he
and now I'm
turned
in
it
this
around.
positive place. So that's why I love listening to him. I listen to that hardcore metal Christian music. All they talk about is God. People don't believe me, and they think they're like,
Because you don't understand what it's saying.
I do. And I think
Right.
that's the Lord speaking through them to me.
Okay.
Of course, I listen to stuff that, like Bad Bunny, of course, he's not positive, but I don't listen to the ones where are not good for me, that I know are not good for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I listen to the ones that remind me of you.
Yeah, I know. Because of the stuff it says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
And it's super cute when you're singing in the shower. Like, I'm like, wow.
yeah, and those songs are on repeat for me. And you get tired of them, but that's what keeps me, I guess, positive.
Yeah.
Stuff we watch, of course, it's something for entertainment or whatever. I guess since we're adults, we can process negative and positive very differently from kids. But yeah, even our daughter is super positive. I play those songs and she's like, she's a little rapper. She likes to dance.
Oh,
She
man.
loves to sing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna go through some, I guess, cases where we've seen of how we came up with this topic and how we felt, or maybe mainly me, of why we should talk about this. And it was two. It was one, and I think I saw these on the same day. One, I saw something positive first, which was this lady who, when she was young, got kidnapped. I don't know how long for. I think it was for several months. But she got kidnapped and I guess raped for that time. And this is huge because she was doing a TED talk or some type of positive talk, and it was great to hear what her mom taught her when it comes to dealing with something that could potentially want to ruin your life or make you think suicidal thoughts that, of course, you take action on.
Yeah.
So yeah, this lady went through that, and her mom told her, like, hey, I know that this man or whatever took this precious time away from you, and so many actions happened he caused on you or whatever. But from now on, it's your choice to let that affect you, because he already took that much time away. It's your choice if you want him to take away more time by you thinking of what he did to you, of what all that bad stuff that happened to you. It's your choice if you want to keep that bringing you or keeping you down.
Yeah.
Or you can, of course, move on from that or acknowledge that that happened and move on. Of course, it's going to be hard,
Of course.
but it's your choice. Like, it's either you're going to keep that, whatever happened to you, keep that from making you happy or from you being happy.
Keep affecting her.
Yeah. Or you can let it end there where it ended and move on with your life and find a way to be happy.
And that immediately reminded me of that book that I read a long time ago. I don't know if you remember, but it's called The Mastery of Love.
50 Sugar?
No.
That's a book you read a long time ago.
No, after.
Yeah.
The Mastery of Love, it reminded me of that because it talks about that too. It talks about like you going through some kind of event like that, like being raped, and it makes you feel horrible. It makes you feel like your self-image, your confidence, everything just goes down. And it says, like, why should you carry that burden if it wasn't your fault? Like, let the person that did the action carry that, and you be happy.
Yeah.
And it's true. When I read that, like, I was like, wow, like, understand that you shouldn't take responsibility for other people's actions.
Yeah.
So I think, like, that's why it reminded me of that book, that story you said.
Yeah, and in that scenario, that's an example of what a positive mental attitude can give you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like, hey, yeah, you can go through this horrific events, but in the end, it's up to you if you ever want to be happy again.
Yeah.
And then the second one that I saw is of this 10-year-old boy who committed suicide because kids.
Where?
I have no idea where. Because kids were bullying him because I get he had some type of disease where he had to. What do you call it when you have to carry a bag that's attached to your stomach?
Okay.
Something like that. So, well, in the story that I read is that sometimes it would leak, so he would stink.
Hmm.
So kids would make fun of him for that. So I guess he got tired of it, but at the same time, he's 10. Just keep in mind, he's a 10-year-old boy. 10 years old. He probably has no memory of the first 3 years.
Yeah.
And he had joy for I don't know how long. And then all that stuff started to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So he was still very much in the development stage. So he was getting fed all this negativity.
Yeah.
And
sad.
yeah. So that's why, like, I saw that, and as a parent, I got angry at the parents. Because one, in the story that I read, they were blaming the school.
Really?
Yeah. And I get it, yeah, the school, like, if they were aware of the bullying, why didn't stop it, blah, 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 or whatever. But at the same time,
But
just
there's
like,
only so much that the school can do.
yeah. Because we believe everything has to be learned from home.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, school is going to teach you your academics or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
your morals, your character, your attitude is going to be done at home.
Yep.
So, just like in that first story where this girl went through all these ugly events and her parent told her, like, hey, acknowledge that that happened, but don't let it stop you from being happy.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, with a 10-year-old boy, we have a 10-year-old boy who committed suicide because of bullying. And yeah, I get it. Bullying is horrible and it shouldn't be done. But as a parent, you have to know that it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So as a parent, you have to prepare your kid to take it. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So these parents were blaming the school. But in reality, if those parents taught that boy and spoken to him, like, hey, you're great, you're special. God gave you this because he knew that you were stronger than those other kids.
Mm-hmm.
Then that kid could have worn that bag as a symbol of, like, I'm stronger than you. So whatever you tell me about this bag or whatever's going on here won't affect me.
Mm-hmm.
But, and of course, this is not something that it's 100% true or whatever. I'm not sure if they did not speak that into him or if they did. But I'm pretty sure that if that was spoken into that little boy,
It wouldn't have happened.
yeah, he wouldn't have committed suicide.
Right.
Because it's a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's crazy to think that that kind of stuff happens when, like, honestly, it can be prevented.
Yeah. Any type of depression, suicide can be prevented.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I just think that's crazy that a 10-year-old kid would do that to themselves because they don't want to live anymore.
It's so sad. But I, like you say, like, it's important to teach our kids. And, like, even adults need it too. because a lot of adults did not grow up. Like, yeah, like we went through bullying too, but maybe a lot of adults did not grow up the way that helps them to talk to their own kids about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, with me, my mom never talked. I don't remember ever having a talk with my mom about anything.
Right.
Where it comes to bullying or whatever, anything like that, all she worried about is that I was healthy and that I got good grades and I didn't misbehave or whatever. And so I guess that's another example of parenting that I didn't want to be like, because I wanted to make sure my kids were raised. Myself, I wanted to leave a better world for my kids.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wanted to leave a better kid for this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's super important because we're raising the next generation.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal to raise strong, independent individuals because they're gonna grow up, and if we want our world to become better, it's gonna start from us as parents taking that, like that step of teaching our kids what needs to be done and how, and how they grow up and how they think.
Yeah, because nowadays kids are getting, and it's a perfect example, and people covered in this facade that, oh, it's building up their self-image or whatever.
Yeah.
But when kids compete nowadays, especially in school, they all get awarded. They all do. If they won last place, they get rewarded for being last place.
Yeah.
And people think rewarding them is going to build their self-image and they're going to start thinking positive for themselves. And that's just not true. Those kids are going to think like, oh, I can be an average or below average, whatever person.
And that's
still
why
get
they
rewarded.
don't try as much.
Yeah.
That's why they don't try their best. Because they're still going to get rewarded. Like, regardless.
And when it doesn't happen, they're like shocked, like, oh my God.
And, like, that's why I think every little thing that happens to them, it's a big deal. Like, oh my gosh, like, the Wi-Fi is not working right now. It's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like, no, what? Like, it's dumb. And it's because of how, like, I don't know, society is teaching them to be.
Yeah. But we know that our kids are not going to be raised by society. They're going to be raised by us.
Yeah.
And of course, you as a parent have to be positive first before you are able to instill that into your children. So
just remember, we're not telling you what to do. Like, this is not, this is something that
we've seen that we've what do you call it? We've applied in our personal life and our parenting, and we've seen it work.
And I feel like I remember thinking this, I don't know, not too long ago, but we leave the teaching to others. And we feel like it's others' responsibility to teach our kids something that should start from home.
Yeah.
For example, our son, who's in catechism, right? He goes to class every week and he learns about our religion. But I feel like anything else that has to do with his belief and how he believes in stuff should come from us teaching him about, God and what we believe and everything, not leave it to his teacher.
Yeah.
Because it's not his teacher's responsibility. Same at school, it's not the teacher's responsibility to teach them not to be bullies, like to respect others. Like, it should come from you. Like, you take responsibility as a parent to teach your kids that and to implement it in your home first. Because when it does happen at school, they're ready for it.
Yeah.
Like the whole YouTube thing.
Oh yeah.
That's
That's another
so
thing about why
crazy.
we were wanting to talk about this. That
Yes.
YouTube stuff or whatever
That's going
with
on.
YouTube Kids, the Momo challenge or whatever that thing is.
I saw, you showed it to me, huh?
What?
The Momo challenge?
I have no idea.
I think you showed me a picture, but like,
It was a year ago that it came up. I don't know how. I don't know how it came up. But it was first for like teenagers and adults or whatever.
uh-huh.
But now, evil people in the world, I don't know why they would do this, but now people are putting those images into YouTube Kid videos. Of course, disguising them as kid friendly or whatever. They're putting like sexual stuff on kid videos or instructions of how to commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, what we did as a parent, we did a YouTube. We did a YouTube.
And like, this is not something that just started, because I know that it's been a while that we've kind of monitored their YouTube watching.
Yeah.
Because stuff like this has happened before. Not so impactful, I guess, but there has been videos before where they're like inappropriate for little kids.
Yeah. Like, it's a big difference of how I don't like, for us, when we watch YouTube videos, it's from the same people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's selective.
Yeah.
Like,
we know who we're looking for and what we're watching.
Like, kids nowadays are not just selecting from this channel or this channel. Yeah. It's like they see one video, and then they see the thumbnail for the next one. Or like, oh look, that looks fun. But they have no idea what they're going into.
Yeah.
They just click on it because it looks fun.
Yeah, because the title or
the picture and the whatever.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing. So as responsible parents, we deleted YouTube
from everything.
Us personally, we still watch it.
Because we know what we're watching.
Yeah, we like, me personally, I don't see nothing inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we both don't see anything like that. We see stuff that's funny, that's entertaining.
I like to look up recipes on YouTube because it like teaches me to cook.
Yeah, YouTube is a great platform that can be educational, but it could also be harmful.
Mm-hmm. Depending on how you use it.
Yeah.
But definitely our kids are not allowed to watch YouTube. So what we did for our daughter, instead of YouTube for Kids, we downloaded PBS because we love like all the cartoons that come out. They're not inappropriate at all.
Mm-hmm.
So we downloaded the PBS app, and then we downloaded the Disney Go app.
Because as kids, one thing is that they don't really know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want them to be independent, but the way we're raising them is to be independent in actions that we know they can do, like turning on the light, or picking up their room, or stuff like that. Like our daughter, when she comes home and she has her coat on, we take it off and we tell her, hey, take it to your room. And she does it because she can.
Yeah.
And but when it comes to like education and them watching whatever, that's where you really want to pay attention to that, because kids don't know what they're getting into, and YouTube can be a very dangerous place. And of course, with all that's happening right now,
yeah,
it's a testament to that.
Yeah, this is like the moment where us as parents should be like, okay, like this is happening, let's not like make it worse and still let them watch YouTube. Because I can understand, like, kids are wild, and there's sometimes that, like, even I'm like, okay, you need to relax for a little bit because you're draining me. So it's easy to just give them the phone and put on YouTube. But there's alternatives to that, you know.
Yeah.
Because we don't want more of these like suicides and stuff that these little kids are going through to keep happening. So just do something about it.
Yeah.
Because it can be prevented.
And it all starts with the parents.
In our opinion.
In our opinion. It all starts with the parents and no one else's fault if your kid is being depressed or acting depressed or you yourself are being depressed. If you're an adult, it's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
If your kid is doing that, then that's the parent's fault, in my own opinion.
And if you're an adult and you feel like you're depressed or you're going through depression or whatever, just let people that do want to help you.
And also start finding reasons to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, like think about, because, okay, I hate having to go to books, but I've learned this from books.
Yeah, that's one thing you can do to start thinking positive and not be depressed.
Yeah, the way that I started thinking more positive too was when I read that book, A Man's Search for Meaning. Remember that book? I mean, it's an amazing story. And it makes you think of the stuff that you are going through and that you feel like it's the worst thing happening to you. Not be so crazy.
Yeah.
And I know, like, there's people that, you know, like, complain, oh, this is happening to me, FML or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's others that are like, yeah, like, be happy that you don't have cancer. Exactly.
Yeah.
Be happy that your tired popped, but you're healthy. Be happy that you're
alive.
Late, yeah, like you're late to
anything.
work, but there's people right now that are, you know, going through like the worst disease or, you know, whatever. So that's one thing that I think about whenever I'm like, oh, like really, like, oh, but you know, there's probably somebody out there going through something worse.
Yeah.
So think about like us as human beings, we start being very selfish. We just think about what's going on with us, but we don't think about what other people are going through. So I think that that's one of the things that helps to get through whatever you're going through. You know, like turn the flashlight to somebody else.
Yeah, and be grateful that you're not in that person's shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like if you do something for someone else, it will help you get through whatever you're going through.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, like I mean, so what we wanted to talk about to make this a positive podcast is ways of how you, if you find yourself in that place or in a state of depression or you're having these thoughts or whatever, one thing you can do is start reading books of how to make yourself better. Because, of course, depression is an ugly place. And I don't know if people love being in that place or feeling that way, of guessing that they don't. But a lot of people are not taking the step to get out of that place.
They stay there.
Yeah.
Feeling sorry for themselves.
Yeah. And which is a very dangerous place because all your thoughts that are going into your head are negative. And of course that's not going to fix anything. It's like we tell our kids, like, crying's not going to fix that. So the first step is to start thinking positive. One, that's the first step. That's literally like, hey, I feel this way, I feel bad, whatever. But at least I'm breathing and I'm alive.
Yeah. Just change that.
Yeah. Find things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. Be grateful for. And because now once you start being grateful for one thing, you're going to start finding other things to be grateful for.
One thing that I did because we've been learning thanks to our mentor, we've been learning to be more grateful.
Yeah.
So one thing that I started doing, I don't know if like if anybody's still doing their like daily goals or whatever, writing them down, but I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And you don't have to write them down, just think about it every morning. We even have like a canvas that says that. Start each day with a grateful heart. So wake up and be like, today I'm grateful for whatever. I woke up, I have water, you know, my kids next to me. Just every day, and that will like help you feel better. Even when you go through stuff throughout the day, like you just punch it in the face. Right?
Yeah.
Because you're grateful already in the morning. So, you know, you stab yourself with the pencil or whatever. Like yeah, it's cool. Because I'm breathing.
Yeah. It's like if, and I wish I could do it to every person who is depressed or is going through some emotional stuff, and ask them like, hey, I know you're feeling this, but would it hurt as much as me sticking this knife into your eye? Or whatever.
What?
So they could see that whatever they're going through is not that bad. Yeah.
Oh, babe, you're so crazy.
So would it be, or like, would it hurt more than me sticking this stick into your eye?
Yeah.
So people can see that it's not that bad. And I'm pretty sure once people see, like, they taught us this, is that if a group of 10 people were to put what they're going through issue-wise and what's causing them depression into a bowl, and then each person would randomly pick out of that paper, and whatever you got, it's what you had to go through next. So like, let's say, oh, this person...
Where'd you hear that?
What do you mean? They taught us this.
Who?
Our mentors.
Oh. Was I there? I don't remember this.
So, like, let's say if a person is going through a divorce or someone with a family death and dead, and people who are going through all these horrible things.
Put them in a bowl.
They put them in a bowl, and whatever you get is what you have to deal with.
Imagine, no.
Yeah, everyone would want to get their own issue back because they don't want to go through other people's issues.
Yeah, exactly.
So it teaches you that your problem is not that bad, and you can deal with it. And that's one huge thing that we believe in, is that God will not put you in a situation that He knows that you can't handle. He doesn't bless you with what you don't deserve, but He also doesn't punish you with what He knows that you can't handle.
Yeah, that's another thing that, like, as we went through stuff throughout the years, like, I've realized that it's a blessing to me because it's made me stronger every time. So whatever we go through, I know that it's a blessing because I'm going to become better. But that you were saying about the bowls, like, that's... that is...
Bowl.
I mean, one bowl. Like, that's huge. Like, imagine a person who's going through whatever.
Yeah, like...
Make a bowl with, like, horrible things that you don't ever want to go through. Put it in there, and whatever you're feeling that day, take out a paper and be like, okay, mine is not so bad.
Yeah, like, let's say you have anxiety and you think it's the worst thing ever, and it's causing you depression or whatever, and then you put that into the bowl. But then there's this other person that you have no idea what they're going into. Let's say they're going through cancer.
Yeah.
Or some terminal disease. They put that into a bowl. It's your turn to pick. You take out that paper that says terminal cancer. Of course, you're going to be like, heck no, I want my anxiety back.
Give me my anxiety.
Give me my anxiety back. I can deal with that.
I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but wow.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
It is.
That's cool.
That's how you learn to be... And of course, that's something that's gonna help you, like us, be more positive and think about positive, which is kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say like, oh, that person's going through a horrible life. But the way we see it is that, oh, that person is going through that much. Thank God we're not going to, and I pray that they get through it.
Yeah.
That's how we see it.
Uh-huh.
We don't see it like, oh, my life is not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we keep positive. And
We should do that to our kid.
what?
Like make a bowl. I'm just mind blown by this. Like make a box, and whenever he's complaining about like, oh my gosh, like this, blah blah blah, like, you know what? Go take a paper from the bowl, and that's what you're gonna go through next.
Yeah, like when he doesn't want to clean his room, we're like, hey, we'll give you an option. Go pick a paper from that bowl, and that's what you will have to do.
That's so big. Oh my gosh, you're awesome. High five.
Parenting 101.
That one's free, guys. That one's free.
So how do you start creating that positive mental attitude, or you find yourself in a place where you don't have it yet? First of all, acknowledge what you feel. Acknowledge that you don't want to feel that way anymore.
Uh-huh.
And start finding ways to move away from that.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself thinking negative and that's what causing your depression, acknowledge that you feel that way and acknowledge that you don't want to feel that way anymore, and start taking steps into thinking positive. And the first step is finding things to be thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
Be thankful that you're alive. Be thankful that you have been fed today. Be thankful that whatever situation you're going to, you're strong enough to go through it.
Yeah.
And always have a vision that no matter what, the end is always going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what God promises you. Like, what you're going through right now does not compare to the amounts of joy you're going to enjoy later, that you're going to have later. But you have to go through, like, basically, there can be a testimony without a test. You can't have joy if you don't go through some difficult times.
Yeah.
And you learn through those difficult times.
You do.
Those are learning experiences. That's how people need to see those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's situations that you don't want to be in, but hey, you're in it. But know that
Get through
it's
it.
temporary. You're going to
Yeah.
get through it. It's temporary. And at the end, you're going to be a better person. You're going to be stronger.
And I feel like you'll help others too, because other people are going to go through it, and you'll be able to help other people know what to do if they do go through something
Yeah.
or the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So you're helping others. I mean, it's huge. Remember to not just stay positive, but also associate with positive people.
Yeah. If your friends are not adding value to you, then don't hang around them as much as before.
Like, it doesn't mean that you don't care about them or you
Yeah,
don't
still
love them.
love them.
Because we have a lot of friends that we don't hang out with, but we still love them.
Yeah.
Like, we still care what happens to them, and, you know, whatever.
If they need us, we're there.
Yeah, we're there. But that doesn't mean, like, we're with them every weekend or whatnot. Even family.
Yeah.
Like, there's family that we love, but we're not around them.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing too.
And another thing is now start being aware of what you listen to and what you watch and what's going into your head, because that's a huge thing. Think about it this way. What you feed your mind comes out through your mouth. What you feed your ears and your eyes comes out through your mouth. And we told our kid this. And that's one reason why he's not watching YouTube.
I just laughed because it reminded me of, like, you told them, like, don't speak out of your butt.
Yeah.
And then you were saying like what you see, what you watch, or what you listen to comes out of your mouth. And then I'm like, and what you put in your mouth comes out of your.
Why?
I'm so sorry. Just okay.
Anyway, start being aware what goes into your mind. And think about it this way, and it's crazy, but this is what we've been taught. Like all we're saying right now is what we've been taught.
Uh-huh.
And it's amazing because we didn't learn this in college or high school or even in our own home.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's crazy.
None of it.
No. But where is I going with this? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, acknowledge that whatever goes into your mind can affect you in a positive or negative way. Mm-hmm. So make sure everything that's going into your mind is positive. Think about it this way: if someone would go into your house, go into your room, where you sleep in your bedroom, and they came with 3 bags full of trash, stinky trash, wet trash. Wet trash is the worst because it smells.
Wet trash.
Wet
right?
trash.
Oh, okay.
Like wet trash.
Yeah.
That's all liquidy.
Mm-hmm.
Blech. And they would like tear open those bags and you're just dumping all in your room.
I could already smell it. That's
exactly.
Disgusting.
You know you would react like, hey, what the heck are you doing? Get out of my house. Why are you doing this to me?
Uh-huh. Worse than that. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how protective you have to be about what goes into your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now people are letting a lot of trash go in there.
Mm-hmm.
The news. That's why we don't watch the news. That's why. That's why. I've refrained from being on Facebook and Instagram because I know it was not good for my mind. Because all we saw was like the past, and I told you this where I used to work before.
Uh-huh.
With all the shootings and stuff and the crashes or whatever. I didn't find out until I got to work.
Yeah,
because people would tell me. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to know. I wouldn't have known unless someone else would have told me. But yeah, I mean, be aware of what goes into your mind. What you see, what you hear, the songs you listen to. The songs you listen to have a big effect because people emotionally react to them.
Yeah.
So they like get instilled into your brain.
Mm-hmm. And it's like really bad stuff.
Yeah. And that reminds me of the stand-up comedy we were watching, the Trevor Noah.
Uh-huh.
Of how rappers nowadays sound like crying babies. That was so funny. I'm like, oh, that's so true. That sounds like my daughter. My daughter can be a rapper.
And that's probably why kids don't speak properly.
Yeah.
Because they're listening to...
Like we said, whatever comes in through your ears comes out through your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully some of this stuff helped out. I hope it helped someone.
Yeah, if you got offended, well, I'm sorry.
We are sorry.
We didn't mean to offend you. This is, because we never heard this being talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we hear people talking, oh, depression is an issue, blah, 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 blah. But we've never heard, like, what's the solution?
Yeah.
What can you do to prevent depression?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought it up, baby, because at first I was like, no, like, we don't really... But, like always, you're always on point with stuff. And I feel in my heart that this is something people need to hear.
Yeah. And one last thing. If you're in that brink of going into suicide thoughts or whatever, like if you're in your last thread, if you think that nobody's there for you, nobody loves you, there's always someone there who loves you.
Yeah.
There's always someone there who's happy to see you. You just have to know and be willing to think that.
Mm-hmm. And get out of your own emotions and open up so that you can see others. Because people do show you they love you. You're just not being open to them.
Yeah.
So open yourself.
Yeah, there's people out there who want to help you.
Yeah.
But, of course, no one is going to be able to do stuff for you, or that they're not going to force you to do anything. It's up to you to decide, like, hey, I want to change. I want to be better. I want to be happy now. I no longer want to feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, any final thoughts, babe?
No, just it was awesome. This late night episode, very late night.
Deep thoughts with Firelane.
And just so everybody knows, so we end on a like amazing note. My hubby is working on a track for our podcast. And it's going to be amazing.
There you go.
I know it's going to be amazing because you're incredible at what you do. So hopefully we'll get to hear it soon.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, thanks everybody who's been listening to our podcast since the beginning. And if you just started, awesome. Let us know if there's any topics you want us to talk about. We'll do our best.
No. We already know our next topic.
We do. Wait,
What's our next topic?
What is it?
You tell me. You're the one that came up with it.
What was it?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
What did I say so much stuff. Like, I don't. Give me a hint. No. What was that?
That was a wink and a...
Emojis? We're going to talk about emojis?
No. What were we talking about emojis?
I don't know. What are we going to talk about?
You tell me.
That story I told you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Find out in the next topic. The next podcast.
Yeah, that's going to be a
episode
good one.
Of whatever story she's telling to me about.
It's going to be a good one.
All right,
You're
cool.
going to want to listen.
Sounds good.
But if you haven't yet, follow us on Facebook
And IG,
and Instagram.
aka Instagram.
Yeah, Firelink Podcast,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we'll see you guys next time. Or you'll hear us next time.
Yeah. Later.
Bye.